Yay, I think we got it. Hey guys, sorry about that. I was struggling to get this round two up and running. Uh, I don't know. Something weird was going on either with YouTube or with my little laptop here. But we are running now. We're going to get this thing going. This is round two. And since it's a little later tonight, it is after 10 o'clock. Uh, we're going to see what happens here. So, all you new subscribers, just know this, that I am absolutely going to put out so many videos that you'll probably be sick of seeing me. I have no idea what I'm about to draw. I don't really have any plans made. We're just going to jump into this and see what happens. I would imagine it's going to be something creepy. Who knows? I don't know. Might be something wonderful. We'll see. Got my inspiration juice here. We'll take a little sip of that. Got my earbuds in so I can listen to some music without having to worry about getting a copyright claim. Currently, I have some death clock playing in my ear from Metalocalypse. So we're gonna see what happens here, guys. Like I said, I haven't planned anything. This will be the only thing I have planned is it's going to be a symmetry drawing because I did a normal drawing before. So, and I will try to keep checking my chat. I'll have to kind of click back and forth. Mrs. Oji-san is sleepy, so I'm not going to ask her to stay up and watch the chat. So I'll try to remember to click back and forth, but I cannot see the chat and my drawing at the same time because, like I said, I am running this on a rinky-dink little laptop and I don't have dual screens and all that stuff yet. It does look like my connection's pretty weak, so we're just going to see what happens here, guys. Hopefully, everything will hold out and we can have a nice stream. So if you see my pen moving around a lot and then all of a sudden a bunch of stuff happens at once, that's just because of my slow connection. So, enough talk, as they say, as Conan said, enough talk. Let's just get to doing some drawing here. And I gotta find my stylus here. The more inspiration juice I drink, the harder it is to find my stylus in the dark here. We'll throw a little light on everything. Oh, isn't that professional? Alright, here we go. You don't know how many of my works I've started off just like this right here. Just with some clouds, just some random clouds. Then we kind of see what pops out at us. Or I should say, who pops out at us. Starting to see something there already. It's probably not exactly what you guys are seeing, but we're just going to go for this thing here. I will try to not make this an hour-long video like the last one was, but it just is what it is. I don't know if you guys have watched You Couldn't See Me's new video, but he pulled that little Daisy BB gun out of that dumpster, and I gotta tell you, I was pretty excited for that. I think that little BB gun's pretty damn cool. And if the feed's a little janky, I'm sorry, but I just gotta kind of deal with what I've got. So just kind of bear with me for a second while I get these basic shapes in here. And of course it's a skull, right? It's me. It's going to be some kind of a skull thing. Alright folks, so there's our basic shape. Let's see if we can make anything out of this. This is a Autodesk Sketchbook I'm using here. And these are the, let's see what these are called. These are called just oil brush paints. So, oil paint brushes. And this is going to be a down and dirty, quick and creepy skull here. So I end up doing a lot of skulls just because I kind of like them. Now these first couple layers, sometimes I throw people off with them a little bit because I just start throwing down all these basic shapes really quick. And believe me, I'm just kind of trying to get the basic kind of feel of what I'm trying to do here. And then I go back to my good old friend, Mr. Eraser. Hopefully some of this crazy stuff I'm doing here will make sense to you in a minute. I hope. Okay, now we're gonna slow it down just a tad here. This kind of a phase here where I'm just cutting in all these shapes tends to kind of be the longest part of these whole things. If you'll bear with me for just a little bit. We'll get back to the main part here. We'll get all this stuff knocked out pretty quick here. I'm no Bob Ross or nothing, but sometimes I wonder if when nobody was watching, kind of in his private studio, if Bob Ross didn't knock out a few little pieces like this right here. Little happy black slime of death here. These little white spots appears because I screwed up my layers, so I will have to go back and fix those. Like I said, if you're saying something in chat right now, I will go check it here in just a second, but I kind of want to keep focus and get this part done right here. I kind of remember my first experience with any kind of digital artwork way back in, I guess it would have had to been like 1987 when I was in high school out in California. We, in my graphics class, got gifted some Apple IIs, and they had scanners, and the very first version of Paint, which was actually an Apple program, and that was the first one of these type of programs that I ever got to play with. And I can even remember the very first thing I ever drew on one of these type of programs was the Joker. And man, what I wouldn't give to have that right now to show everybody. Don't even know that it was very good, but I think it would be super cool to have that. And I remember printing that thing out on a dot matrix printer, and being oh so impressed and proud of it. And thinking about all the stuff I could do. And here, 32 years later, I'm finally doing it. Now, if you're hearing my voice, you're probably thinking there's no way that guy went to high school in California. But sure enough, I did. Long story. But I did indeed graduate from Paso Robles, California, as a Paso Robles Bearcat. My graphics arts teacher, his name was Mr. Chuck Yana, and he was a fairly old guy back then, so I'm sure he's probably, if he is alive, he's got to be 100 years old. Mr. Yana is always one of my big inspirations. And it's just because, maybe kind of like me, he was somebody you just would never expect of being an artist. He's an old ex-jarhead Marine. But man, that dude was good. And I mean good. And he was actually a professional artist, but most of what he did was back in the day, before all of this digital stuff was so easy to come by. He drew pictures of a lot of it was like apples and oranges and produce and meat and stuff like that for grocery store ads. And that was kind of his side hustle there from teaching high school. And he was such a cool guy, and I was such a crappy student. Oh, look at, you couldn't see me. Mo, appreciate you guys coming by. Like I said, I'm sorry I'm slow on the chat. I'm having to switch back and forth between screens here. And I know I'm chatting when I could just be talking, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You guys are both awesome. So back to Mr. Yana. So he he drew all this stuff, and I was a bad student. I won't say. I will say this, that my mom and I were kind of in a tough situation, and for me to have anything, I had to work. So I kind of been working forever, you know, and I bust tables at night for a long time. My first full-time job, I got when I was 14. I kind of lied to get it. But all through high school, I pretty much bust tables at this restaurant. And I would be there pretty late at night. And pretty challenging for me to get up and go to school. And Mr. Yana knew all this, and he would come by the restaurant quite a bit and see me and stuff. And so he kind of knew the struggles I was going through there, and he thought so much of me. When I could not get up to come to school, he would call me and wake me up. And I would go on in for him and help him out, because I was kind of his teacher's assistant there for a while, even in high school. And the dude just really looked out for me. So I owe a lot of everything I have to Mr. Yana. And like I said, I don't know if he's alive. If he is, he's extremely old right now, but he's just kind of one of those dudes that helped me out. I remember I would get the calls in the morning, and it would go something like, Mr. Arbaugh, do you plan on coming to school today? And I'd be like, oh, what time is it? And kind of rubbing the sleep out of my eyes. And he'd say, hey, just knock the crap off. If you'll go ahead and come on in, I won't even hold you accountable. Just go ahead and get to school, because I was his first period class. So I'd come on in, and because I was his teacher's assistant, and because we were just getting into all this new digital stuff, the school decided they could save a bunch of money by having us in the graphics department do all the diplomas for the seniors that year. And I was a senior that year. So because I got experience with this early, I was really one of the only folks that knew how to run that Apple II. And I think it was called Apple Paint. I don't remember. I think that was the first thing that came out. So I could run Apple Paint, and we were actually doing the diplomas and printing them off using Apple Paint. And again, if anybody's commenting stuff, I'm sorry. I'll try to get in there and check it here in a second. But so I was doing the diplomas for the whole high school, including my own. So I knew I was graduating, even though I didn't deserve to. But that's kind of another reason, like, I had his back on that, and I was taking care of all those diplomas, so he took good care of me.
Can't see your painting.
You can't see it?
No.
I have been informed that you can't see my painting. So let me see if I can redo this here. Man, this whole thing's pretty janky. There, you can see it now. Man, guys, I am sorry if you missed all of that. I don't know what's going on with my sketchbook and all my stuff. It should pop up here in just a second. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Hopefully my Streamlabs isn't bad or something. I may have to just reconfigure this whole thing.
I have to.
Let me know when it pops up. 30.
Popped up.
Alright, 34 minutes into this. Alright, guys, so can you see the painting now? Can you hear me?
They could see your painting, but your volume is low.
The volume's low?
Yeah.
Alright, hold on just a second. Let me make sure we are good to go here. Hello. Alright, let me get this down by my mouth. Maybe that'll be better. I don't know. Maybe that's better. Man, that's some die-hard fans to stick it out through that. Solemn is my son-in-law, so I appreciate you giving me that input there, because it was probably suffering quite a bit.
Jimmy,
Huh?
could hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Alright. Is that better, everybody? 36 minutes into this, I finally got it figured out. So here we go. We will continue on. I don't know if anybody caught that whole story I gave you about my teacher in high school, but I'm probably not going to start that all over. I didn't have my moderator over there awake, and luckily she woke up and told me what was going on. Is that better for everybody, I hope? I am sorry, guys. I am still a straight up amateur at all this streaming on YouTube stuff here.
Everybody's saying it's much better. Volume says it's much better.
All right.
Low homesteading said absolutely.
I don't know if any of the rest of you guys have ever messed with doing live streams on YouTube, but I feel like there's got to be some software or something out there to make this easier so that I don't get 36 minutes into to a stream before I realize you can't hear what I'm saying. So man, that's some die-hard friends right there to stick it out this long.
Don't make this one too long.
Huh?
Don't make this one too long.
Hey, Koontz, I really like that BB gun, man. We may have to work out some kind of a trade on that deal.
You see him? Kuntz is on there.
He was on there. I don't know. He may have gave up. I wouldn't blame him if he did. Thank you, Mo. Now, I kind of alluded to this on a Facebook post from my last little live stream here, but you know, I catch a little bit of flack for doing this kind of creepy stuff on YouTube, but I don't feel like I need to change anything.
Okay, I'm getting off. Okay,
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm just going to keep doing my thing, and maybe my audience will find me. Surely there's a few people out there who are into this kind of stuff. Maybe I'll be the guy that pioneers this live YouTube streaming stuff. Yeah, it's a niche, all right, Mo, and I tell you what, if I ever find all the weird people in the world that like this kind of stuff, I'll be set, won't I? All right, we got to throw some oil paint on this thing. Bring it home here. And once I get crazy with this oil paint here, it'll come together pretty quick. So when I do the speed paint version of this, it's going to look like I just started in the middle of this drawing here. So that's all good. It's all cool. Just a second. I'll get back in there and check that chat. Like I said, it'll come together pretty quick once I get started with these oil paints. So you guys are freaking troopers for sticking it out through that whole thing. I really appreciate that. I'm sure I want to hear all about it from Solemn tomorrow. You know, Solemn, with your degree and everything you're going for, I think you should develop some streaming software aimed at YouTube so you can have a gaming or display mode on here. Thank you, Mo, for all the encouragement. You know, before I kind of came across all you guys as part of Kuntz's buddies, I really was about to hang this whole thing up because I was actually kind of on the giving up side of things here, kind of like in your video that you posted. You just kind of get discouraged. So hopefully this will work out good. Like I said, I'm looking for that weird audience out there, and I think if I find them, I'll be alright. It's just finding them. Alright, we're going to throw some texture on this thing, and then I'm going to put some creepy eyes in those eye sockets. And we'll wrap this up here pretty quick. This is the fun part of these paintings, when it starts kind of coming together real quick like this. We'll have to fix those teeth up a little bit here before we get done, but that won't take just a second. Alright guys, we're almost to the home stretch here. Woo! Alright. Yeah, you know what? The drama part of it, I guess I'm not really concerned if I offend anybody. I mean, if you make this kind of artwork, of course you're not really concerned about offending folks, but I just don't want a bunch of people ran off from my channel because of a couple of negative comments. And the paranormal stuff, Mrs. Oji-san is a huge fan of anything paranormal. And I can tell you, I can probably creep some folks out with my stuff. Even this stuff that I'm doing, which kind of seems pretty dark, is not actually as dark as I go with this stuff. So, you know, I got folks on YouTube. I don't know if they're trying to be like the YouTube police or what they're doing, but kind of griping at me about running ads on creepy stuff. But believe me, it is not nearly as dark as I go on some of these things. So someday I will cut loose with it on YouTube, and I'll give them a reason to complain about me. Mo, I don't think we can worry about drama. I think you just got to do your thing on here. And I think if you're going to carve out a new niche, you definitely can't be worried about drama. And I do see a lot of artists and a lot of digital artists kind of doing similar things to mine, but I think I could bring something new. And that's all I'm trying to do. All my kids that have gone to art school, and the one thing I've always told them is just don't ever compromise on your style. So I definitely don't want to compromise on mine. Yeah, that 1K subscribers, man. I tell you what, that's a tall order. The 4K view time, I think you could get with ads, but getting subscribers that actually want to be here and that actually enjoy your content, I mean, that's the goal, right? You got to bring them in, and they got to actually want to be here. You know, I don't want to trick anybody into being here. I want them to actually enjoy the stuff that I'm doing. But I think a weirdo channel like mine, when I do get those folks in here, I believe they will stay with me. Over on DeviantArt, which is kind of my home over there, because even with all the YouTube support and all the Facebook followers and all the Instagram stuff, the folks on DeviantArt really took me in and adopted me like no other site has so far, just because of this weird stuff that I bring. But if I can get those kind of like-minded folks over here, I think I could have a channel that I would have no worries about. And I'm really hoping to see some of your artwork pretty soon there, Mo. It does not have to be anything like what I do. I just want to see what you got, what you're putting out there. I enjoy it all. Alright. We're fixing to hit the home stretch here. Couple more things. We're going to adjust this guy out. Make this look as terrifying as I can. So, Mo, who's kind of your favorite painter? I can tell you, like, my biggest inspiration was Richard Corbin, and he was kind of an artist back in the 70s and the 80s. I believe he's still around doing stuff, but he was from the old heavy metal magazine days. I don't know if you remember that stuff or not, but that's kind of where all of this stuff for me comes from. Now I'm much more of a Salvador Dali, Leonardo da Vinci inspired person. If you want to go that classical with it, but honestly, Richard Corbin had as much influence on me as any of those old masters. And Mobius. Mobius was another big influence of mine. Give me just a second. I'll check that chat. I apologize. Like I said, I lost all that time thinking everything was great. Did not really intend to stretch this out this long. Yeah, the older I get, the more I appreciate what Picasso did, but he really wasn't not an influence on me. Yeah, if you got a second monitor, Solemn, that would be great because me kind of going back and forth and missing like several minutes of chat at once, it's pretty rough. Laguna, huh? So I'm guessing you're from California. I was, like I said, I graduated high school in Paso Robles. If you're from Laguna, surely you know where Paso Robles is. I also went to high school in Morro Bay and Los Osos for a little while. All right, thanks, Solemn. Solemn, can you guess what's in my inspiration juice? All right, now I'm going to try to attempt to adjust this out and then bring it back. But the last time I did this, it did not show my adjusted product here. So I'm going to do my dangest here to get this back up to you guys. I don't know how long the stream's been now. And I know it just looks like I'm just sitting here staring at my screen, but I've got another program called Photor up here that I'm adjusting the contrast and all kinds of stuff of this painting. And it will be just a second. I'll have this back up to you, and hopefully this time you guys can actually see it. And I'll get back on that chat here in just a second, guys. I'm sorry. If you're saying something, I can't hear it. Or I can't see it, hear it. So I gotta kind of pick and choose what I want to do here. There's so many things I can do with this. Like I said, I'm sorry. It's just me sitting here looking at the screen. I am adjusting this photo out here. Now, Solemn, can you hook that extra monitor up to this laptop? Because that means I'll have to clean my desk off. Oh, well, that's pretty nice of you, Solemn. I try to be as good a father-in-law as I can. So let's see if I can make this actually show you guys what I've got going on here. I don't know if it will or not. Let's see. There it is. All right. So I kind of figured out how to show you my finished product. And honestly, this isn't all the way finished, but it's as far as we're going to take it tonight because we are an hour and 8 minutes into this thing. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Solemn, Mo, thank you guys a lot for the help. It's just been kind of a struggle getting this going, and I think maybe I can break some new ground on how I do this live. And I think some artists are kind of nervous to do it live because they may screw up, but I mean, they can't all be masterpieces, but most of mine aren't masterpieces to begin with. I just want to hang out and draw with some folks. So thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.